Hello everyone and welcome back again to my channel. My name is Gloria, and in today's video we'll be talking about Canada immigration, the different ways that you can immigrate to this country. So if this is your very first time here, don't forget to hit the red subscribe button and click the like button so that you can see content like this when I make videos. So without ado, let us go ahead into the video. Just before we go ahead, as a disclaimer, I want to let you know that I am not in any way an immigration consultant. I am not a lawyer. I am not licensed by the Government of Canada, IRCC, to help you with your application to come to Canada. If you are looking for somebody to do that for you, you would be looking for a licensed consultant or a lawyer to help you with your application. I can direct you to the information if you're looking for DIY, that's do it yourself. But if you're looking for somebody to assist you with your applications to come to Canada, you would need one. And if you're looking for one and you haven't found one and you need me to find one for you, I work with an immigration consultant company here in Canada that are able to help you with your immigration to Canada processing. If you are interested, please let me know in the comment section. Now, I'll be directing most of my content here today, because as always, from the Government of Canada website, which is www.cic.gc.ca. I typed it on here because some people have always said, Gloria, did you say CIC or GIC? CIC is what I said, and you can see it up here, directing us to the Government of Canada website, because that is where we can get all the information about coming to Canada. And I've just typed in the website right now, and the services, and under the services and information, there are different ways you can come to Canada. You can come to Canada on a visit. You can come to Canada just immigrating, and we'll go into that very shortly. You can come to work here in Canada under the work visa. And lastly, you can come to Canada as a student, as an international student, to come and study here. Now, when we look at the immigrate pathway to come to Canada, when I click on that, what comes out here is different express entry, family sponsorship, provincial nominees, Quebec selected skilled workers, Atlantic immigration programs, caregivers, startup visa, self-employed, rural and northern immigration pilots, agri-food pilots, temporary resident to permanent resident pathway, permanent resident pathways for Hong Kong residents, economic mobility pathways pilot, refugees, francophone immigration. So for express entry, this is a point-based system whereby they rank you on different factors like your age, your English testing, your work experience, your school experience, and all of that. And if you have family here in Canada, they rank you in a pool with many people who are looking to also immigrate to Canada as permanent residents. So you first of all check your eligibility, and I've made a video about that. You can go check that video. It's Express Entry 101. It tells you everything about the Express Entry and how you can apply. The other thing that we talked about is family sponsorship. For example, you have somebody who is a permanent resident here in Canada or a citizen in Canada, and they're looking to bring you as their family down to Canada. For example, you're married to this person in their home country, and you as a citizen, you're looking to bring this person to Canada, to immigrate to Canada. You can do this under the family sponsorship program, which will allow you to bring both your relatives, including your spouse, your partner, your children, your parents, your grandparents, and others to immigrate to Canada. The other one is the provincial nominee programs. There are different provinces who are always looking for people to come and work for them or work in their province. So they always look for people in the express entry program to find people to come and work and live in their provinces. So different provinces like Ontario, for example, they have the Ontario Immigration Nominee Program. We have Saskatchewan Immigration Nominee Program, the SIMP. There are a lot like that, AIMP, OIMP. There are a lot like that that are always looking out for people. So it is very important for you to know that when the province nominates you, they give you a point of 600. So 600 points, in addition to whatever points you have, will give you an opportunity for you to be invited to apply. So they'll give you an invitation to apply to become a permanent resident in Canada. Most people do not know that you first of all have to be in the pool before this can happen. So let us talk about visitors visa. I know a lot of people have asked me that, Gloria, can I actually immigrate to Canada as a visitor? The truth is you cannot, because you can only come to Canada to visit and see how the country is. Can you switch your visa to becoming a student or a worker? Yes, as I speak right now on this video, today is May the 22nd. There is still a policy in place whereby those who are in Canada as a visitor can apply for a work permit, meaning that you have to find an employer under the who has a positive LMIA. An LMIA is a labor market impact assessment whereby there are workers who are looking for skilled or unskilled people to come and work for them because they have not seen any citizen or permanent resident to fill that position. So they are now looking for temporary residents outside of Canada to come and fill those positions. Before you get those jobs, it's very difficult. A lot of people who I know who have come to Canada as visitors, they have found it very difficult to find those positive LMIA jobs in Canada. So is it possible for you to immigrate when you come to Canada as a visitor? I would say it is difficult. I will tell you the truth because I'm speaking from experience. Many people that have asked the same questions, they have said, no, Gloria, I've been 4 months in this country as a visitor. I've not been able to find those jobs. So it is very difficult to find those jobs. But if you're looking to study, you can actually, I know people, and I'm saying this from experience. I know people who have reached out to schools, they've gotten admission and they've applied within Canada to change their status or they change their visas to study visa. Now, you can also come to Canada to work. That's what I talked about not quite long. If you also find a job, if you apply to a job here in Canada and the job has given you an employment letter, you can apply for a work permit. And I know I've made a detailed video about how you can apply for your work permit. It's really straightforward and you can get all that information from the Government of Canada website, which I shared with you earlier on. Another way that you can immigrate to Canada is if you are a international student studying here in Canada, you have a spouse and you have family who are back home who are looking to come to Canada. You can apply for your spouse to come to Canada so that they can work under an open work permit. Remember that, and I know I've said this in my previous videos, if you come to Canada as a permanent resident, you can work for any employer. But if you come as a worker, that means an employer here in Canada gives you an employment letter to come and work for them. That means you can only work for that employer at any point in time. It is called a closed work permit. We do not want to mix the two together. One is a closed work permit, meaning that you can only work for one employer at any given point in time, while the other one is an open work permit, which enables you to work for just any employer here in this country. And I've had so many questions from people saying, Gloria, if I come to Canada and maybe I stay in Alberta, for example, am I restricted to stay in Alberta? No. If you apply to come to work and live in Alberta for the first year, you can stay there. I know people who, and I always fall back to I know people who, so that you don't use my words against me. I know people who have come to Canada as permanent residents and they applied to a particular province. After a year or two, they have moved those provinces to other provinces. So you are not restricted to one province in this country. You can move around if you want. Now, international students, one thing I want you to know, and this is a side thing, when you come to Canada, please know that you are only allowed to work 20 hours a week. Most students who come to Canada, what they do is that they come to Canada, they just abandon their studies and they start working. They forget that immigration knows that they have people are reporting back to them saying, okay, this person is in school full-time, or this person has abandoned their studies and they are now working full-time. It can endanger your chances of becoming a permanent resident in this country. So in order to avoid that from happening, please, when you come into school, please go to school. Do not start doing things that will jeopardize your stay in this country in the long run, because the goal, I believe, for every international student is to become a Canadian resident or a Canadian citizen. So you don't want anything that will jeopardize your chances. Some students, and I know this because when I was in school in this country, some students who did not come to school or who did not go to school and were doing other fishy things, they were deported back to their country of origin. You do not want that to happen to you. So my advice is, when you come to come to school and study and face your studies. And if it is time to work, please work. And if you don't want to work because you don't feel like working or you have too much money, all well and good, go ahead and do so. Well, I didn't want my video to be too long, and I know we've talked about so many things about coming to Canada. We've talked about visiting Canada. We've talked about coming as an expert under the express entry route. We've also talked about coming to study here and also coming to work here. Different pathways for you, and Canada is always changing their policies every given point in time. Today, a policy that was there before can be stopped and a new one begins, or a new policy that will favor you would come. Just stick your ears out every point in time so that you can be aware of when a policy is going to favor you, so that you can apply to come to Canada. And for those who are intending to travel outside their home country, please know that Canada is a very diverse country. It's very welcoming to immigrants. So you can think about coming to Canada, because Canada is always welcoming new people every point in time. If I tell you the amount of people that cross that airport, Pearson International Airport in Toronto, every single day, you'll be amazed at how many people have come into Canada. We are enjoying the opportunities and the privileges that are being given to us by the government of Canada. And I do appreciate the fact that I am here as a Canadian. I appreciate it. I love being a Canadian. I love being in Canada. Canada is my home now, and yes, it will be your home too, in Jesus' name. So I'm not going to talk too much about all of that. If you have any questions about this video, let me know in the comment section. And if you find it very easy to navigate the Government of Canada website, I want to also hear from you in the comment section. So thank you so much for watching my video. Please don't forget to hit the red subscribe button and like this video. Give this video as much likes as you can. Share the video with your friends and family. That's one way you'll be supporting me on my station. And until I see you in my very next video, please stay safe and bye.